I recently this week, I finally, I finally finished the 2024 Phantom Annual. And I've got to say, it's one of the best books that I have read. I some of these stories, I've already read them before. Like, I think there was like 1 or 2 free Phantom stories I had already read because I had already read them previous in other books published by other people. But one of the biggest things that I've been impressed by this annual is the selection of the stories. Is the selection of what we're reading in the annual has been top notch. A lot of variety. A lot of people, a lot of Phantom fans over the last couple of years would have noticed this. And they've been doing a very, very good job at selecting the right type of story for the right type of audience. And because of that, we have a lot of variety coming in through years gone past. And even this year, we are probably going to be seeing a lot more variety. And because of that, a lot of Phantom fans are going to feel like they're going to be having more of a range of Phantom comic book stories and not just the pinpointed, not just the one type of story. They're getting like a whole variety of different things. And I think that in one sense that is very, very good. And a lot of people like to have variety in what they're reading. And I enjoy that very, very much. So I very, very much enjoyed this Phantom Annual. From the amazing cover by Jason Paulos. Look at that cover. And then look at the back cover. How good's that? How good is that? From the cover and to the amazing selection of stories in this 200 plus page book. Like, this book is 244 pages long. And one of the things that really took my eye is there's a story in this book, and the book is, obviously, they followed the same theme as last year. In last year's annual, few publications started this theme where they would have an entire annual where they would publish all of Graham Nolan's stories, and they have continued this year with collection of Graham Nolan, collection number 2. But one of the many things that I saw in this book was that they had published the Iron Python. Now, the Iron Python was published by Regal Publishers, Regal Comics, in Regal Comics The Phantom number 3. And this story here was published in colour. Now, this story that we saw in the 2024 Phantom Annual was published in black and white. And I prefer the Iron Python being in black and white than into colour. And I'll have a look. I'll show you a comparison of what the story looks like in black and white versus what it looks like in colour. And what do I think of this comparison? I think that this comparison, although that obviously I've said black and white, I love black and white and I prefer black and white because this particular story called the Iron Python works very, very well. I've noticed that it works very, very well when few publications have published the Iron Python in black and white. And I think the story really, because the story is sort of like a spooky story and sort of like got those little Halloween-y type elements to it, I think that this type of story works very, very well. It works very, very well in black and white, and I love seeing it in black and white. There's nothing wrong with publishing a story in color. It's just, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, you have to get the right type of color to match the right type of scene so that it just looks better when you do it that way. And obviously, I don't have any experience with publishing. I don't have any experience with printing anything. I don't even have any experience printing a magazine. So My Word isn't really, it's not that big, and I don't think that many people would go off my Word. I don't even think they would go off My Word. I think they're just like, some people love what they'd like to see, and then they just don't like the rest of it. And I think I am one of those types of people. I love black and white, like that. I have a personal love interest with black and white. Like, black and white just suits me. I love it. And when I see something in color, it's like it has to be done very, very well for me to like it very, very much. And that's what I just like about the Phantom 2024 annual. I think it's just, it gets the right balance right. And there's another thing that I really, really loved about this book, and it is, there's a set of stories in this book that was called The 5 Days of Dragon, chapters 1 to 5. I very, 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 very much enjoyed this story. I loved all the 5 chapters. I loved how they flicked in a little bit of historical relevance in this story. I love when people just write a story and it's got historical links to it. I've said this on the channel before, but one of my all-time favorite historical linked stories to do with the Phantom is the assassination of President Lincoln. Like, how good is that story? Klaus Murphy does an awesome job. And then you art by Cesar Spadari. His work is phenomenal. They both passed away a couple of years ago, which was very, very sad. And what do you think of the 2024 Phantom Annual? Do you have any thoughts about the 2024 Annual? Do you have a favorite part? Do you have favorite stories to do with the book? Comment your favorite things to do with the book down below in the comment section down